forming around the vehicle. That's totally normal. Now that LOX load has completed, the excess liquid oxygen is now venting from the lines that we use to complete that propellant loading. Next milestone is we'll hear that the vehicle is in startup.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
All right, so there's that call. At this point, the onboard flight computers now have control of the countdown.
Falcon 9, Starlink, LD is go for launch.
All right, and now with that final go for launch from our launch director. At this point in time, the weather
30 seconds.
The weather is looking to cooperate. The range remains green, ready to support. And the teams are tracking no issues. So at this point, all systems are go for launch. Let's watch as Falcon 9 takes our 53 Starlink satellites into
seconds.
orbit.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff of Starlink 414. Vehicle's pitching downrange. MOD chamber pressure is nominal.
As you can see on your screen and heard by the cheers of folks with me here at Mission Control, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40, carrying our 53 Starlink satellites. Although at liftoff, gravity is pulling straight down on the rocket. As we ascend, we actually tilt the engines. The technical term for that is gimbaling for all my rocket nerds out there. And that actually turns the rocket horizontally.
Falcon is supersonic.
So we're still going up, but with that gimbaling, we're now also heading.
Engine cutoff. Speed separation confirmed. Ignition.
As the first stage makes its way back to Earth for landing, the second stage continues its journey with SES-1, or second engine startup. This is where the single Merlin vacuum engine will ignite and propel the second stage along with the Starlink satellites to orbit. There, inside our inner stage.
Main engine cutoff. Speed separation confirmed. And back ignition.
All right, so all three of those events in quick succession.
Bearing separation confirmed.
And there we can see that the fairing halves have separated, exposing our Starlink satellites to the vacuum of space. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see those grid fins deploying on the first stage.
Both stages are on nominal trajectories.
All right, great news there. Everything looking nominal for both the first and second stage. Now, while the second stage is doing its job, the first stage is actually coming back home to Earth, and it will execute two burns today. The first burn is the entry burn. We will ignite three of its engines, 3 of the 9 Merlin engines at the bottom of the first stage to help slow the stage down. The second burn is the landing burn. And that's where we ignite one engine, just the center engine, that will bring the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to land on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. That drone ship is about the size of a football field. Everything continues to look nominal
Acquisition of signal Bermuda.
for both first and second stage. Beautiful shot of the second stage MVAC engine there on the right-hand side of your screen, with the beautiful blue marble rotating slowly behind it. Now that first stage, as you can see, is beginning to basically float its way back to Earth. It's currently above the Earth's atmosphere. In order to help it make its way back through the Earth's atmosphere, we're going to perform a re-entry burn. Not currently visible from that view, we have landing legs stowed on the side of the booster. Falcon 9 is equipped with 4 landing legs made of carbon fiber aluminum honeycomb. They're placed symmetrically at the base of the rocket and stowed during ascent, and they will deploy just prior to landing. As we come up to the entry burn, a reminder, this is a 3-engine burn meant to slow the first stage as it hits the thicker layers of the Earth's atmosphere. As you can see, Falcon 9 has grid fins on it. It's equipped with 4 hypersonic grid fins. They're positioned near the top of the first stage and near the base of the inner stage. So basically where those two, currently the first stage is using its grid fins for steering as it makes its return to Earth. If you watch closely, you can see those grid fins
Stage 2
activate.
trajectory continues to look nominal.
Those grid fins help orient the rocket during re-entry and guide the rocket during descent. There we just saw a puff of gas that is just nitrogen gas. We use nitrogen gas bursts for attitude control on the first stage.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
So we can see the first stage has
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
begun its entry burn. We have reignited 3 of the 9 Merlin engines to help slow the booster down as it re-enters the thick part of the Earth's atmosphere. This burn will last about 20 seconds. Everything continues to look nominal for second stage. We can see that that entry burn has
Stage
concluded
1
for
entry
first
burn
stage.
shut down.
Again, that white gas that you see coming from the booster are the nitrogen gas bursts that we use for attitude control. As I previously mentioned, you were able to see the soot markings on this booster left over from its previous flights, its previous 11 flights. This is the 12th flight for this booster.
Stage 1 trajectory nominal.
The rocket-grade kerosene, or RP1, that we use as fuel for Falcon 9 is carbon-based. So when the fuel burns, it generates soot. Because the re-entry occurs with engines first, the booster actually flies through its own plume, which deposits that soot onto the side of the rocket. So be
Stage 1
sure to check out the feed from the onboard camera. During landing, you may be able to see that soot sticking to the lens.